Hey folks, it's Carl over at Sterling Health and Fitness, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about carbohydrates. Carbs kind of get a bad name a lot of times, okay? But I want to say this. Carbs are not your enemy. Excess calories are your enemy. And of course, bad carbs, well, they're not your friend. There's such a thing as good carbs and bad carbs. We're going to go over this in a little while, okay? First and foremost, you got to have your carbohydrates. And carbs are not your enemy if you eat the right ones, all right? So what's all the hype? You know, what's going on with all the low carb, no carb diets and all that? It's been going on for, years. People are still doing it. Okay, well, on the onset, it kind of looks like it might be a good idea because, just three different things, okay? Number one, in the first few weeks, you're probably gonna lose a significant amount of weight. Well, that sounds good, right? Sure, who doesn't want to do that? If you're out to lose weight and then you start losing it, you're thinking you're doing the right thing, right? Okay, we'll get to that. You also get permission on a low carb diet to eat, foods that aren't that good, like high fat foods, things like burgers and bacon, cheese, steak. This is all good, right? There's fat in them, but there's protein, so we're thinking we need to have protein, and protein's not a carb, so let's eat it. It's got to be working, right? Well, no. We'll get to that too. And for most people, it's just like this. It's like a magic answer. Their friend did it, or their sister, or their brother, or their mother, somebody. They know people who went on low carb, no carb diets, and bang, they lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, whatever, in the first few weeks. And you're thinking, wow, if they can do it, I got to do it too. Okay. Let's talk about what's really going on when you're eating a low carb diet, all right? The short answer is basically this. Most of your weight loss is coming from a couple different areas. Number one is coming from dehydration, loss of water, okay? And it's also coming from muscle loss, all right? We'll go over this in detail. Let's talk about just a few of the other side effects that are going on, the bad things that are going on from a low carb diet. Then we'll get into some details. Okay, so dehydration, not a good thing. All right, you lose glycogen, and glycogen is composed largely of water. So when you lose glycogen, you're losing water, hence dehydration. But glycogen is also energy, and we need glycogen. When we burn through what glycogen we have in our muscles, and then there's none left, we need to have more, okay? We need it for our energy. It's very important. For our survival, it's very important. Another negative effect is it can negatively affect your kidneys, okay? Your heart, and even your neurological system, your coordination and your balance. Okay, you may experience lack of concentration. You may have fatigue, constipation. Who wants that, right? Headaches, weakness, depression, stroke, heart disease, various forms of cancer, and even osteoporosis. Okay, so those are things that are associated. They can be associated with long-term, or even in some of those things can be short-term low-carb diets. All right, so let's go back to the beginning now. It depletes your healthy glycogen stores. All right, well, glycogen is your energy. We need this. All right, if you're depleting yourself of that, then you're probably going to lead to fatigue and lack of energy. All right, you're thinking, I want to go work out, but you don't have the energy to do it. Or maybe it's just functioning through the day and you don't have the energy because your glycogen's gone, all right? Muscle loss or muscle atrophy. This often occurs on the low carb diets. Your body may even resort to using muscle as fuel. So you're actually burning muscle. Like especially you go to the gym, right? You're lifting weights, you're trying to do stuff, and your body's actually burning the thing that you're trying to build. Not a good thing. You don't want that at all, okay? So muscle loss is not a good thing because metabolism happens in the muscle, all right? If you have less muscle, you have lower metabolism, you will burn less calories, okay? Loss of muscle tone. and saggy skin. So you lose 20 pounds on a low carb diet, and then you don't look good because you look sick because your skin is saggy and you don't have any definition left. You don't know, no muscle tone. Not a good thing, folks. Okay, and much of the weight loss again from low carb diet does come from dehydration and loss of muscle mass. I'm emphasizing that again because I need you to know how important it is, and neither one of those are good. You do not want to be dehydrated. You do not want to lose muscle mass, especially as you get older, okay? So low carb diets also tend to have a lack of fiber in the diet, okay? I mean, okay, so where do you get fiber? Well, it only pretty much is in plant-based products, okay? So plant-based products, a lot of them have excellent carbohydrates. A lot of the fruits, you know, the vegetables, they also have fiber, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So if you're not eating that stuff, where are you going to get your fiber from, all right? You know, chicken and pork and fish and all this stuff. You're not going to get fiber from that. There's no fiber in a hamburger. There's no fiber in bacon. We need to have fiber because we got to move stuff out the other end, folks, okay? And I'll tell you, there are a lot of people out there who don't move enough stuff out. They're constipated. We have colon cancer at all-time high, okay? This lack of fiber can lead to all kinds of issues and lead to various kinds of disease, you know? In addition, a low-carb diet causes you to have a lack of nutrients, okay? I mean, if you're not eating your vegetables and your fruits, I mean, where are you going to get all those nutrients that you're supposed to get from there, okay? We already know you're not getting the fiber, okay? And you know, you're not going to get the same stuff out of beef, chicken, fish that you're going to get out of your spinach and your lettuce, you know, your greens, your vegetables, your fruits. It's not the same, folks, okay? Got to have balance in your diet. Another area that comes into play here is if you're not feeding yourself the nutrients and the minerals that you need, okay? If your foods are nutrient deficient, or even if you get good quality meats on a high protein diet, you're still lacking stuff you've got to get from other areas, and if you're not getting it, you're going to be hungry, okay? This is going to send a message to your brain saying, I'm hungry, but you cannot interpret what it is that you're hungry for. All you know is you're hungry and you want to eat, okay? It's basically your body's just out of whack. So, how do we fix this problem? We eat carbs, and we eat them in the proper amount, okay? So, recommended daily allowance for carb intake would be 45% to 65% of your total calories coming from carbohydrates. Now we got to take it a step further, though, because we have to talk about what constitutes a quality carbohydrate, all right? First of all, you have simple carbs and you have complex carbs, all right? You're going to want to stick with the complex carbohydrates. Okay, here's how it works. Simple carbs are a single bond. They break down really fast in your body. Your body tends to hang on to that because it didn't have to work very hard to break it down. It just sucks it in and it pretty much stays there. Here's an example of a simple carb. A donut. Think Dunkin' Donuts. Go over to Dunkin', get a donut or two, eat it, and where does it land? Right down here, okay? It stays right there with you for a lot longer than you want it to, okay? On top of that, because it's so easily broken down by the body, it spikes your insulin level. Okay, so you eat the cookies, you eat the Wonder Bread, the white bread, you eat all the sugary stuff and the candy and the soda, okay, and the donuts and all that stuff and the pastries and all that stuff. You're talking about white sugar, white flour. They're both refined, okay, table sugar, stuff like that. These things spike your insulin. You ever have the sugar high? You probably ate simple carbs, okay, and then what happens a half an hour later? Boom! You want to fall asleep, you want to crash, hence the term sugar crash. So simple carbs are not what we want to eat. So let's talk about what we do want to eat. Complex carbs, all right? They're made of a triple bond. Your body has to work much harder to break these down and assimilate them. And because it's working harder, it takes it in slower, which regulates your insulin, and you get it out of your body a lot faster too, okay? These carbs also tend to have fiber in them, so that's another reason that you move them out. And they're not sticking with you like the simple carbs are. All right, so let's talk about examples of complex carbs. All right, we got spinach, barley, turnip greens, buckwheat bread, your whole wheat pasta, oat bran bread, zucchini, apricots, pears, oatmeal, asparagus, soybeans, low-fat yogurt, Brussels sprouts, garbanzo beans, lentils, broccoli, cauliflower, eggplant, onions, artichokes, strawberries, muesli, wild rice, oranges, celery, the list goes on and on and on and on, okay? Simple carbs, different thing. You want to stay away from table sugar, corn syrup, fruit juice, candies, cakes, breads that are made with white flour, or pastas made with white flours, soda. Most of these packaged cereals are simple carbs, all right? A lot of the baked goods out there you find in the bakeries, biscuits, stuff like that. So I hope this gives you a good foundation here to realize what carbs you should eat, how many you should eat as far as the percentage of your total calorie intake. By the way, if you want to figure out how many calories you're supposed to eat, search through my YouTube channel under the nutrition playlist, and there's one entitled, How Many Calories Should I Be Eating? Okay, go there, do the math, figure it out, then calculate 45 to 65% of your calories coming from carbs. Now, just say for me, I'm getting about half of mine from carbs because of my level of activity and just how I feel. If I eat 65%, it's a little high for me. I don't want to eat that many carbs, but I'm going to eat about half of my calories. I'm in about 2,900 calories a day because of my activity level, gender, height, size, and weight. And so about half of that, 1,500, is coming from carbohydrates, and they're good carbs. I eat quality carbs, complex carbs. All right, folks. If you go to sterlinghealthandfitness.com, there is a link on there. It's called Carbs Are a Must. Okay? All of this information is on there. All of it. Check it out. Go there, print it out, share it with your friends. Let people know that a low carb, no carb diet is not a good idea. Okay? You don't need them to get sick. You don't need them to get hurt. You don't need yourself to get heart disease, cancer, stroke, dizziness, osteoporosis, muscle loss, saggy skin, no muscle tone. You don't want that. Okay. You want a good, healthy, balanced diet. Okay? So remember, carbs are not your enemy. Excess calories are the enemy. Remember, sterlinghealthandfitness.com, sterlinghealthandfitness.com. All the info's there. If you have any questions, you can contact me through there. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day. Over and out, folks.